The Sumerian civilization, one of the earliest known civilizations in the world, flourished in the region of Mesopotamia, in what is now modern-day Iraq, between the 4th and 3rd millennia BCE. During this time, the Sumerians made significant contributions to the development of human civilization in various fields, including art and architecture. In this essay, we will explore the art and architecture of the Sumerian Empire, examining its distinctive features, cultural significance, and influence on later civilizations. One of the most notable features of Sumerian art and architecture is its intricate and elaborate designs, which were often created using a variety of materials, including clay, stone, and metal. The Sumerians were skilled craftsmen, and their artistic creations ranged from small figurines and pottery to monumental structures such as ziggurats, palaces, and temples. One of the most iconic forms of Sumerian architecture is the ziggurat, a massive stepped pyramid-shaped structure that served as a religious center and was often dedicated to a particular deity. The ziggurat was constructed using mud bricks and was often decorated with elaborate carvings and mosaics depicting religious themes and figures. The ziggurat was an essential part of Sumerian religion, as it was believed to be the home of the gods and a place of worship and pilgrimage. Another notable feature of Sumerian architecture is the use of arches and vaults, which were used to support the massive weight of their buildings. The Sumerians also developed an early form of column architecture, which consisted of a single, solid column that was often adorned with intricate carvings and designs. In addition to architecture, the Sumerians also excelled in the field of sculpture, creating a wide range of figurines and statues depicting both human and divine figures. Sumerian sculptures were often created using materials such as bronze, copper, and stone, and were characterized by their attention to detail and realism. One of the most famous examples of Sumerian sculpture is the so-called Lady of Warka, a large statue of a female figure that was discovered in the ancient city of Uruk. The statue, which is over 5,000 years old, is made of alabaster and stands over 3 feet tall. It depicts a female figure wearing a long, flowing robe and holding a vase, and is thought to represent a goddess or priestess. Another notable example of Sumerian sculpture is the ram in a thicket, a bronze statue of a ram that was found in the royal cemetery of Ur. The statue, which dates back to the 3rd millennium BCE, is one of the earliest examples of hollow-cast bronze sculpture and is considered a masterpiece of Sumerian art. Sumerian art and architecture were not only aesthetically impressive but also had significant cultural and religious significance. The Sumerians were a deeply religious people, and their art and architecture often reflected their beliefs and values. Many Sumerian structures, such as ziggurats and temples, were dedicated to the worship of gods and goddesses and served as important religious centers. Sumerian art and architecture were also closely tied to the political and social structures of their society. Many of their monumental structures, such as palaces and fortifications, were built by rulers as a way of asserting their power and authority over their subjects. Sumerian art was also used as a means of communicating political and social messages, with depictions of rulers and their conquests often appearing in reliefs and other artistic works. The influence of Sumerian art and architecture can be seen in later civilizations that arose in the region, such as the Babylonians and Assyrians. Many of the architectural features and design elements developed by the Sumerians were adopted and adapted by these later civilizations, who built upon the foundations laid by their predecessors. One of the most significant examples of the influence of Sumerian architecture on later civilizations is the Ishtar Gate, a monumental structure that was built by the Babylonians in the 6th century BCE. The Ishtar Gate was constructed using the same techniques and materials as the Sumerian ziggurats, and its elaborate blue glazed tiles and carved reliefs depicted Babylonian deities and symbols. The Ishtar Gate became one of the most iconic symbols of Babylonian art and architecture, and its influence can be seen in later Persian and Islamic architectural styles. Another example of the influence of Sumerian art and architecture on later civilizations is the use of cylinder seals, small cylindrical objects that were used to imprint designs onto clay tablets and other surfaces. The Sumerians were the first civilization to develop cylinder seals, and their designs often depicted religious and mythological scenes. Later civilizations, such as the Babylonians and Assyrians, also used cylinder seals in their art and administrative systems, and their designs were often influenced by those of the Sumerians.